So I get questions all the time about what was the result of the NAR lawsuit and settlement last year. Do sellers still have to pay buyers' agents commissions? Are buyers now paying their agents commissions? What's the difference? What was the change? And the reality is the change is nothing. Sellers were never obligated to pay buyers' agents commissions. Sellers are obligated to pay their listing broker. And in the listing agreement here in Colorado, there's a section that, we fill out, and it requires the seller to agree to a certain amount, potentially, that they would pay to a co-op broker, a broker who brings a buyer, who brings an acceptable offer to the contract. But in reality, the Supreme Court last year ruled that sellers should have the ability to negotiate the terms of buyer's agent's compensation at the same time as they're negotiating the terms of an overall contract. So basically, considering the purchase price terms, etc., sellers can decide what they're willing to offer a buyer's agent as a what we call co-op commission at that time. And that's kind of what we've done always. It's no different. See, if a buyer's agent had to pay their broker directly, they'd have a lot less money to put down on a home. They'd offer less money on the home. And in reality, when you finance a certain amount, you've got a lot more purchasing power than if you have to come out of pocket cash. For example, if I'm a buyer's agent and I get paid, for the sake of easy math, 3%, right? And my buyer is on the hook to pay me that 3%, well, what's 3% of $500,000? It's $15,000. If the buyer has $15,000 less in cash as a down payment on a home, they won't be able to afford nearly as much, and therefore the offers they'll make on properties would be way lower. See, when we look at comps and other homes that have sold, the vast majority of them have sold and included a full buyer's agent's co-op commission. So the amount that a buyer is willing to pay for that home includes the amount that was being paid in commission as well. If they weren't paying a commission to a buyer's agent, the buyer had to pay that commission directly, it'd remove a lot of homes.